What is the secret to making $300 a day with an AI side hustle? Well, I'm glad you asked, because today we're going to talk about exactly that. I'm going to show you start to finish how to use this free tool that I created for you to start a side hustle that can make you as much as $300 a day or more. Now, it's very important before we get started that we differentiate between a side hustle and a business. A side hustle is kind of like a mini business. Think about it like this. Let's say you have a personal trainer at the gym. Now, that would be a side hustle if they're just taking one or two clients, but if they actually open up their own gym and start their own business, now that's a full-fledged business. These go hand in hand. So if you want to start a side hustle and make a little bit of money and then later build it into a giant business, listen up, this video is for you. And it's all about using AI to create simplified systems. These are systems that people use to make money right now. If you know the system, you can make money. Think about it like this. Let's say you have a bunch of people who want new YouTube thumbnails, or maybe they want a piece of content based on their podcast or something like that. These are people that are paying money right now for a system. When they pay the business or side hustle person to do this task, there's a system that each side hustle or business uses to make this work. Maybe it's looking at the title, taking a look at other thumbnails, creating a background, using the person's image, getting some text, and poof, now they've made money. And wouldn't it make sense that if you had this simple system, you can make money too? Well, that's exactly what this is about. So today, we're going to be using my content generation suite powered by Gemini AI. And I'm going to show you exactly how this works with a simple side hustle that anyone can do. And the key is in moving people to different boxes. What do I mean by boxes? Well, online, people have a certain goal. Nobody wants a thumbnail, they want more views. Nobody wants content, they want more traffic and customers. And if you can understand this simple process, then you can use AI to make money with a simple side hustle or a full-fledged business. And it all has to do with simplifying the system. And since all of this is done online, it's actually very simple to do. What we're going to do is take everything that we do and look at it in boxes. You might have someone who does a side hustle and maybe they go through and take podcast content or blog content and fancy it up so that the customer can get more views. Well, again, there's little boxes that they check. One might be starting out with a content strategy. Two might be using AI to write that content. Three might be delivering it with a title that is SEO friendly or whatever they're trying to do. Or let's say you're creating whiteboard explainer videos. These are super popular. This is a side hustle that makes lots of money. First, you want to get the idea, then generate the script, then get the video backgrounds, create the video, and get paid. See how simple this is? It's all about a structured system. If you have the structured system, you win. And today, you're going to learn several key lessons. One, how to build a side hustle with a structured system and free tool that I'm going to give you today. And two, a little bit deeper, behind the scenes, you're going to learn exactly how the structured systems process works so that you can build a business of your own and profit big time. So if you're excited to learn the side hustle and the behind the scenes stuff that builds big multi-million and even billion-dollar businesses, smash a like button because I'm going to show you everything start to finish. Come on. Let's go to work. Okay, so in just a minute, I'm going to show you the tool that I created for you that uses AI and Gemini to go through and build this side hustle out. Now, this is very simple. You don't even need a Gemini or AI account. This actually runs on mine, so all you have to do is use the tool. It'll do a lot of the work for you. Now, first, before we get into this, we need to understand what this side hustle is about. This is what we call a content repurposing side hustle. You might have seen different websites like Whop, where they're going through and they're looking at all these different things as a side hustle, where what they're doing is video clipping or going through and making smaller pieces of content based on one big piece of content. Now, for those paying attention, this is something that a lot of businesses pay for. You see pastors that are paying for sermons. Their church pays for sermons to be cut up, put into social media, put into reports, blog posts. little reports on their site and different things like that. That's very important. Now, what we need to do is we need to understand how this works. When you're looking at something like Whop, where they're actually going through and you need an audience to make it work and it's driven by views, what we're going to do is we're going to do this as a side hustle. Now, we can also turn this into a full-fledged business, but we need to go through and look at how we're going to do that. And the way we're going to do that is with systems and processes. Having the system and process is the key to making this work and the key to scaling it. Now, before we dive in, I talked about $300 a day as a side hustle. If you were doing this like 5 days a week, that would be $1,500 a week. I want you to realize that those results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. The vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. So we want to take this with a grain of salt. We want to look at this as a business, and we want to say, what are we going to do to get where we want to go? If I have different clients, and let's say I charge them $1,000 each to repurpose and upload their content, I would need roughly 10 clients to get to the $300 a day range. Now, that would be $300 based on all days. So if you want to do $1,500 a week, maybe getting 5-6 clients would do the trick for that. Now, looking at this, obviously we need to go through and understand how it's going to work, understand where we're going to get the clients and things like that. You can go somewhere like Fiverr and do this inexpensively, or you can do this for small-time creators and do this even more inexpensively as well. Now, for you, this isn't going to cost anything. You're just going to use the tools. First of all, what we want to do is we want to look at the different types of content repurposing. We have Pinterest pin generation and SEO posting. Why would someone want this? Well, we can learn to make pins with AI, and we can get them ranked and get traffic, which would get sales. That is how this is going to work. So you would approach a business that maybe is a gardening business. You'd get pictures of all different kinds of gardening things. You would make little tip pins and things like that. Or maybe they have a YouTube channel. We can dissect that as well. We can also do whiteboard explainer video creation. Again, looking at these as all parts of a system. If I was going to do Pinterest, what does the system look like? I might go out there and say, okay, let's build these blocks and move people over, as we talked about over at the other desk over there, right? We're going to go through and we're going to look at pins, okay? Well, what would I do? First, I would need to dissect the content. Maybe it's like a church or a business or a restaurant. You would dissect the content. What does the content look like? Church would have a sermon. Okay, great. Maybe I would extract some quotes, make Pinterest pins based on that. Or maybe they're doing like teaching videos, okay? I can extract some lessons and different things like that. Or if they're a restaurant or a tree cutter or a gardener or whatever it is, we're going to dissect that content. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at that process, because that process is the side hustle. That's how side hustles make money. People have a process for doing things, whether it's creating a logo, building a website, getting traffic, making money online. All of this is dissected into a process. And I want you to get that, because side hustle equals process. The reason people fail with side hustles is they're not looking at the process. What is that process? How does it work? So we're going to go through and we're going to move that process along. Step 1. Move to step 2. What does that look like? Making the pins or adding the thing or whatever it is. And there's tools along the way that AI will make this really easy. So if we're doing a whiteboard explainer video, we would go through and say, okay, well, step 1, get the content. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Step 4, do that. SEO content repurposing, this would be an easy one where you take, maybe they have videos and you turn them into blog posts, or he has sermons and you turn them into blog posts to get that church or that pastor traffic, stuff like that. Article to infographic, AI-powered prompting, YouTube video scripts, niche to use, AI-based authority, mini tools, voice to content, different things like this. So these are all the ones that you could do. I'm going to show you the one that I think, for me, is probably the fastest way to get the $300 a day, because it's very, very cut and dry and people need it. And that one is going through and repurposing video content. There are tons of podcasters, tons of video creators, tons of people with long form content that don't know SEO. They don't know how to get traffic. They don't know how to build a blog. They don't know how to build an audience. They just put videos out there. And whether those videos get traffic or not, they're spending money, they're spending time building all this content, and if you can propose a way to get more traffic, then boom, you're in the clear. And I'm going to show you how it works with a free AI tool that I'm going to give you in this video so that you can go use it and, you can build this business off of that tool. Now, you can also use it for your own videos and things like that. This works phenomenally. You can even use it to learn and make content on what you learn. It's very, very cool. Now, going through what we're going to do is we're going to look at the video transcribe type service. Now, if we were to go over to ahrefs.com, which is a good tool for finding keywords and things like that, this is known as a keyword tool. This is where we find out what people are interested in, what they're looking up, different things like that. We could go over here and we can type something in like transcribe, and there's lots of AI tools that'll transcribe audio. But what we're doing is we're looking for like transcribed audio to text. Why would they want to do that? They want to do that because they want to use it for something else, maybe making a guide, a book, a course, or whatever it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to look at transcribe, and we can also put transcription. And you'll see like transcription service and stuff like that. Now, we're not going to do the transcription service. We're actually going to go through and we are going to make the content based on the transcription. Okay, very important. So we could do something like transcription to, and we could do like transcription to notes or something like that. That's what we want here is what they're doing, like maybe video to blog. Let's spell blog right, that might help. Video to blog, right? These are people, 250 people a month looking up video to blog AI, video to blog AI, how to start a video blog. All of this stuff would be perfect. And we could see here 9,100 a month search volume. That means 9,100 people a month are looking this up. Also, before doing this video, I checked on Fiverr. Tons of people are doing this, making lots of money. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into specific businesses. That way, all we have to do is get good at one process. I don't need to think outside the box. I just go for all the dentists or all the pastors or whatever it is, and I make this work in a very simple way. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to get a transcription of a video, okay? A lot of times you can go and you can get the transcription pretty much wherever you want. You can have a video transcribed. There's tons of tools out there. Lots of video hosting places. You could just click a button and get the transcription right on the video site, which is what I did here. And you're going to go and you're going to take your client, okay? You go get your client and you're like, hey, we're going to turn all of your stuff into content that will get you traffic. So you're making these videos. They're not getting the views. We're going to help you get those views. We're going to help you get that audience by positioning your stuff somewhere else. And this is a key. You know, a lot of people, you spend a lot of time on a video. Maybe it doesn't take off the way you want it. Like I did a video a couple months ago for Nerf Wars. I thought I was going to go crazy. It was one of the worst videos I ever did, yet the one I spent the most money on. So looking at that, I'll put that in the description. It's a good video. I thought it was pretty good. But you can transcribe that and turn it into other pieces of content, which is going to get you traction. That's what the whole Whop thing is about, is clipping videos. Okay, so we're taking that idea and we're looking at it and saying, okay, well, why would someone pay you to clip their own videos? Like that's their own content. Why would they do that? Well, businesses are doing this all the time. And I would say that out of 1,000 businesses, maybe like 0.5 know what Whop is, right? So this is something that's uncharted, untapped. If you do it right, it can work well. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to find the system and process with AI. So you could go out there, you can go to like Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever it is, and you can say, I want to start a video creation business for explainer videos for businesses. What is the process to make these starting from here is the niche or idea? And it'll actually go through and it'll extract a process for you. You're going to use that process over and over and over again. It's actually very simple. This is how side hustles work. This is how businesses work. Like I said earlier, a side hustle is just a small version of a business. Business is the scaled version of it. Very cool. Now, looking at this, we're going to say, okay, video to blog post. You can even say, well, what's the process for turning a video into a blog post? That's what we're going to do. Now, this tool here that I created for you is actually doing that process. What we're doing is we're making that process in the tool. Boom, you can use it. You're ready to go. So you don't have to think about it. You just paste the thing in there and it does the work. Now, what we have to look at is what is it going to look like when we reach out to these people, the podcaster, the pastor, or the video creator, the teacher, whatever it is, and get them out there. It reminds me years ago, there was a time where after I got sober, I was starting to study philosophy. And there was this guy in Washington, I think it was, who had all these videos about philosophy, and they started taking off really well. They were classes, easy to understand. He got a good following, but he didn't really make much off of it. Now, I could go to someone like him and say, hey, I will chop all your stuff up, make it easy to understand, post it on social media, build you a little course, and boom, we could split the profit, or you can pay me, or whatever it is. And you could even do just the social media part, right? Like, hey, do you want a following on social media? We will do that. You would put the transcript in here. Obviously, make sure you have the permission and everything like that. On this, I'm actually using my own video transcript. This is from my own video. You would use your clients, obviously, with their permission after they pay you to do the service. And then you would go through and analyze the transcript with the tool. This is actually using the Gemini API to do all the work and visualize the video as content for social media that would get them traction and build them. So we're going to go through and use it right like this. I think we need to do this again here. Sometimes it's a little buggy. We're just working out this new version, which is really cool. It's going to show you exactly how this is mapped out, and it'll do it for you. And now once it's done, it'll actually bring up a video analysis, which you can copy and use. Gives you the style, the structure, and everything like that. It also gives you suggested blog titles. If you are going to turn this into a blog, we can go through and figure out what people are searching for, like we did here, where it's like, oh, hey, people are starting to search for how to start a video blog or whatever that is. So what we're going to do is we're going to pair it with things that we know work. Now, in addition to doing blog posts and different things like that, it's actually going to go through and give you notes from the video. So it gives you an overview. You can make it like a nice little notes kit or something like that. Very simple. And then it'll also give you key points. Okay, what are they talking about? These are perfect for social media stuff. Now we turned one video into like 8 or 10 different key points. Now, one of the other things that I did here, because I know a lot of podcasters and different people that would use these services, people that are buying it right now, like you might do like sermon notes or something like that. And you'll see a lot of people do look this up. How do you turn a sermon into a blog post or get more traffic to your blog or promote your church or your workout place or whatever it is, right? All kinds of cool stuff here. And what I noticed with that type of content is it really relies on quotes. So I had the AI tool actually go through and extract that. Notice how it's like taking the system of how I look at content and branching it out, right? So you have this business and they're out there and they're like, okay, we want to get more traffic to our stuff. We have these videos or these podcasts or whatever it is, and we want to chop it up into other things. And what this will do is it'll take out all of the different quotes. Now, as you go through, you might see that sometimes the AI is not perfect at this, which is what we find with those tools that clip videos. They're not perfect at understanding quotes. So what I put here was a new quotes. You just click this. It'll generate a new set for you. And you could just keep clicking this until you find all the quotes that you want, which is kind of cool, right? Start with easy. A lot of traffic. People looking for closing costs. That's something where it could be a good quote, right? Looking at that is super important. Also, another thing we have here is Pinterest pins and Facebook posts and different things like that, where you're going through and you're like, oh, I could take, 10 different quotes from my video or podcast, put them on Twitter, and now I can promote myself as the person who says the quotes, get more people to watch the videos, get more people to look at the stuff, and it'll work really, really well. So using AI with this is key because we're going to go through and get that content in a different way. Now, if you need proof of concept to know that this works, know that there's a lot of business, check things like Fiverr, check out people that are doing different content, stuff like this. There are companies that do this all the time. This is kind of like social media management, which was the big popular business a couple years ago, but now we're using AI, which makes it easier, which means you can get more clients, do this less expensive, and use AI to do this in a very, very simple way, right? We could go through and take all these things and put them into different guides or whatever it is. And we could go through and get new ideas for Pinterest and things like that. I'm going to be building this tool out for you to do even more stuff. So like, let's say you have a realtor and they're like, oh, we're talking about the state of the Florida market in this video. We need content for it. This tool will go through, it'll analyze it, and then it'll go through and say, okay, well, what about Tampa real estate, right? What's going on here? And you'll see lots of people look this stuff up. What are the rates like? Are they selling different stuff like that? Tampa real estate market. That would be perfect. Think about if you just did this for realtors that are out there and they don't know how to make content. You can take their blog and put the blog post in here instead of a transcript thing. You can put their blog post in and get little separate things from it and help promote their end goal. Really helping them understand how content works is key. So what you're going to do, number one, is find systems and processes with AI. In this example, we're using the transcript to content. I would say maybe find realtors that are doing video stuff but aren't that good at it, which is like 99.9% of realtors are not good at this. 99.9% of pastors aren't good at this. Most people are good at what they do. They're not good at the marketing and the social media aspect, which is where we're going to come in. We're going to use tools like this to help them out. Maybe they have a blog and it's not doing very well. We can help them out with the content and help them get that content for a very specific purpose. This is something that works like crazy. That's why Whop is working well, because a lot of businesses are like, oh, hey, we need to clip our content so that we get more reach without doing more work. What this is about is helping them get more reach without more work. And you can even use this on your own content. If you have a video channel or something like that, you can do that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to extract that process. Notice how this tool extracts the process, the analysis, the notes, key points, quotes, Pinterest pins, and then maybe Twitter posts or X or whatever it is you can have there, as well as the blog titles. Again, parsing out that content is super key. And then going through, get that strategy out of here, right? If you can go in and you learn a system for making little videos, you can make this work for that. You're going to extract that, you're going to build and test, and then sell and scale. Going out there and selling this, once you get your first realtor and they get results, boom, it's game over. Now you just go to the next one, the next one, the next one. Then you can get a team. This is how I built my business back in the day. I didn't have AI back then. Now we have AI. Back then, I remember when I first started, there was this guy I would buy content from because I didn't want to write content for my clients. And I found out he was using a software. I was able to get that software, which was the process, cut him out. And I'm like, oh, hey, now that I have the software, I'm good to go. There we go. Really simple, really easy. And the software was like $47 one time. I was paying him $10 per set of articles or something like that. And it saved me a fortune and made it easier because we didn't have to wait anymore. So really cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to understand how content repurposing works. This is the side hustle. I'll have some more notes over at aiprofitscoop.com, as well as a link to this tool, how to use the tool, and everything like that. This is something anyone can do. You don't have to buy a course. You don't have to do anything. You just go out there, you get clients. Okay, so you go out there and find clients. Hey, I can help you take your videos. Your videos are really good. Let me help you systemize that so you can get more reach. You're going to repurpose it. You're going to take one piece of content, a blog post, a podcast, a video, convert it into multiple formats, multiple models, medias, right? You're going to make carousels, tweets, YouTube shorts, blog summaries, audiograms, and infographics. Using this tool will help you fan it out. I'm going to add some stuff to the tool as you guys use it. Let me know what you think. We're going to build it up as well. Going through there, then you're going to distribute it or show them how to distribute it. A lot of clients will want you to distribute it, where they'll be like, oh, here's my Instagram, just go do it, right? We have people here that do our Instagram and our Pinterest. And again, it has to do with that systematic content from that one idea. What your job is to extract as much as you can from one idea. Instead of thinking like, oh, hey, this is just a video, it's done. Okay, there's a video, it's done. How do I now make it 100 helpful things online? You're going to do that with Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, SEO. You can do this with like Quora or Medium offsite, or you can do it on their site. You can make little video shorts, reels and TikToks and things like that. Email newsletters. Can you turn it into, hey, here's a quote. If you like this quote, go watch the full video over here or whatever it is. You can do SlideShare, Pinterest, short videos, explainer videos, stuff like that. Now, the business model here is a done-for-you service where what I would say do is like monthly packages for influencers, software as a service companies, coaches, or course creators. There's lots of people doing this. This works like crazy. It's basically taking that big content, scattering it down, trickling it out, getting lots of traffic from it. What we can do is we can do like a $500 a month to turn 4 videos into 40 pieces of content or something like that. Very easy. Like, hey, you're going to get 40 pieces of content without doing any extra work. Now, I think with AI, we could probably do more than this. You could probably do 100 pieces of content, like $5 each. Who's going to say no to that? They tested it out. It works. Very simple. Also, different platforms. Again, that's something where you can charge more for, but it doesn't take that much more effort. You use a tool like this and you're like, oh, blog post. Now let me get some quotes that I can put up. Boom, done deal. Super simple. Making this, working it out, and making it work is super, super key. right? You're going to go through and really, really focus. If you're doing this for like a software as a service tool, you could do this where maybe you have a membership site and they can use the tool themselves, like something like this. I'm turning this into a business. If you want to learn more about that, I'll have a video in the description, which is really cool. So now we're going through and we're looking at, okay, software as a service, info product. You could do this as an info product where you teach people how to do this. Maybe even bundle it with an AI tool or something like that. Now, what they're usually using is like Opus Clip, Pictory, Descript, stuff like this. I'm going to say do this on your own because you want your process, which is really cool. Now, who needs this? Coaches, consultants, speakers, people trying to gain an audience on YouTube, which is super popular, maybe even podcast platform, maybe even bands. Maybe there's musicians out there and they have a podcast about their music or something like that. Influencers who want more reach, software as a service founders who want blog content, agencies. A lot of people right now, because of the volatility of Google and AI and search and everything like that, they're going to need this. Like you go out there, you have, people that are local landscapers or whatever, even if they don't have podcasts, maybe they have blog content that did good last year, but it's not doing good this year, and they're not getting clients, right? If you do this and you're like, oh, it's only $500 a month, we will work your content for you. And again, using AI, it's not that hard to do. We could go out there and say, okay, well, this content now is going to be purposed to show up here. Now you get Instagram people in your local area, which is really cool. When you go through and look at lead magnets, okay, you could go out there and you could make them. I would say the best lead magnet for this business is going to be hands down, give them a sample. Maybe go through one of theirs and say, hey, I made this pin. If you like it, I can make more like it. Go post it, see if people like it. And when they're like, oh, hey, that got 10 likes and my other one didn't do anything, they will probably sign up, which is cool. Then you just use PayPal or whatever payment processor to take the payment, Zelle or whatever you like. There's all kinds of stuff. I usually use Stripe or PayPal or something like that. Going through there, the lead magnet's going to be the key because then you can write them and say, hey, I have this thing for you to check out. I made for you. I like your content. Kind of have an intro. I would say if I was going to do this, I could probably get 1 in 10 to pay attention. Maybe even more if it's a custom thing. And again, don't position yourself like everyone else where it's like, oh, hey, your thumbnails are terrible or your content's terrible or whatever. Position it as, hey, I have this thing that will help you and here's how, right? Everyone is tuned into what's in it for me. What are they going to get? What's going to happen is as a side hustle person, you're thinking, oh man, I need to get $500 from 20 people so I can make 10 grand. That's what you're thinking. Why do you think that? Because that's what's in it for you. So you're tuning into that mindset. And when we get into mindset, I know a lot of people talk about mindset in business. This is the mindset you need. You don't need some Shangri-La, the universe owes me $1. What you need is people care about what they want. So what do they want? More views, more business, more traction, more reach on social media. That's what they want. So if we can help them get that, speak that. Hey, I have an idea. Years ago, when I first started my SEO business, what I would do is I would email people and say, I have ideas I have an idea to get more business to your blank website, whether it was a limousine company, whether it was a store, whatever it was, I would put that in there. And then the email was simple. It was like, hey, call me if you're interested. Here's my number. And I would take the call. I would close like 5 or 6 out of 10. Now, of course, those are my numbers. I've always been pretty good at sales. If you don't want to get on the phone, you can do it via email, or you could just have a local webinar about how to get more business as an Orlando realtor. I mean, if you do a good job, you should be able to get people that would be interested. And your webinar is just showing them, here's how I chop up videos. Here's how it works. If you got 20 hours a week, you can go do it, or you can pay me and I'll do it with AI since this is what I do. Very simple, very good. You got to really, really focus on what's going on. You got to focus on that customer and go out there. You can do cold outreach to podcasters and businesses, bloggers, stuff like that. You can start content on LinkedIn, or you can show people how to do this themselves. Like here on this channel, a lot of people get mad at me because I have a course. Yes, I have a course with tools and all kinds of stuff. Great. I hardly ever mention it, but I do have that available. And they say, oh, you got to do this. No, actually, if you watch all the videos here on the channel, you watch the videos on my blog, you can get by without buying a course. Okay, the course is structured different, but I give all the info out free. So the idea is give the info free, show them how to do it, and then they're going to be like, I don't want to do this. Like people who buy our high ticket niches. They're like, I don't want to go find a domain, bid on auction, hope it's a good one, risk all this stuff, build some content, come up with, and I got time to do that. So we do the high ticket niches where we do it for you. Very simple process, right? That process is where the money is at. People don't want to do it. But even with AI, people don't want to go out there and split their content up to get social media traction. We do. That's how we're going to get the money. So understanding that is absolutely key. And I want you to take away from this, well, I can go and use this tool and put the transcript of a video of a guy who's paying me, and I can make them all kinds of social media content from that. It'll go out there. It'll do this. And then I go, okay, let's get some pins. You can even get a team. I have a team of about 15 people, and they go through, and all they do is make content based on stuff that I give them, whether it's Pinterest pins, whether it's written content for blogs, video ideas, press releases, whatever it is. This is stuff that works like crazy. I mean, you can even turn it into a press release if they're a new business or whatever. All kinds of things like that. The goal is, how do I use AI to help other businesses get more business in a simple way based on the content they already have? Bingo, now you're in business. But going through and looking at that, you can teach how it works. You can, and if you're going to teach how it works, do it for a specific business. How to get social media customers for your gardening business or whatever it is, right? This is big. This is something I think is probably the second biggest opportunity I'm working on right now. This is a business that I'm building up and growing where we're going to help local businesses. This is huge. The biggest one I've been talking about on the channel. You can check out the videos in the description for that. But this is a side hustle you can get into using AI to make a lot of money if done correctly. Now, again, remember, not everyone's going to sign up. You got to get the payment. You got to learn the stuff. You got to do a good job. It takes work. The average person doesn't want to do work. The average person trying to make money online makes nothing. Even people trying stuff. This is a business. There's risk. There's reward. But the key is knowing the process that other people don't know and don't want to use. And you replicate it. All business is a process. Good old Henry Ford realized that. He's like, wait a minute. We got this one guy making a car. It takes 4 days. What if we had one guy make tires and another guy make this, and the process went through the line? Boom. That's what's going on here. This is going through the line. Process. Here's where we put the paint on. Here's where we get the wheels, the engine, the windows. All of this stuff is super important. The process is the business. Next time you look at a side hustle, if they don't give you the full process, it's not a side hustle. It's an idea. And ideas are a dime a dozen. You know, on YouTube, everyone's got an idea. This isn't an idea. This is a strategy based on stuff that works. All the videos I do are strategies based on stuff that works. So if you want to do this side hustle or use this tool for your own marketing, go over to aiprofitscoop.com. We'll have that, the notes of the video, more info on the side hustle, and make sure you check out the videos in the description. Also, on Wednesday, we're going to have a live stream that is super important on one of the biggest things tied to this. So if you like this idea, maybe you need more help with it, Wednesday's live stream is going to go through that. So aiprofitscoop.com for the notes, videos in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next training.